Hey Aaron, Coach Brandon here, and today we'll go ahead and look at a few of the videos that you went ahead and sent over. No big deal on the late check-in. Just about every client of mine this week, including myself, having some communication issues just because, having a good time with the family. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But look at the videos. Your movement quality is killer. I really like what I'm seeing. I love the decision of bumping things up, increasing volume, and getting back into real strength work. It seems to be really benefiting you greatly. I went ahead and a few things I want to break down more specifically are the movement drills that I have you do, bench press, and then also switching feet position with a squatting variation. So let's go ahead and start out with the 90-90 drill and hip airplane, or 90-90 and shin box, my bad. Starting out the 90-90, it actually looked really good. I like what I see. In all honesty, it looked a lot better than I thought it would. That's not a dig on you necessarily, but at the same time, I thought you lacked external-internal rotation a lot more so than this demonstrates. So it looks like your internal-external rotation is looking pretty good. The drill itself, I still want you to do a lot, though, because it's still going to benefit you so much. But the suggestion I want to give you is I want you to be in a position where you can do this very slowly and controlled. I mean, it should be like 4 seconds per direction, going nice and slow as your end range of motion on this side, and as you're going to this side, you're slow, 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 slow. Have your feet straight up in the air right when you're in the middle, your toes pointed up, and slow, 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 slow. Internal-external rotation with each one, and same thing on the way back. Keeping very elongated with your actual body. Right now, it's just not a drill that we've done too consistently, so I don't expect it to be perfect by any means. But that's just a few things I'd like you to focus on, is being a lot more upright. Kind of think about elongated spine throughout each direction change, and then also going quite a bit slower. And then also, you did it in that video, so just something to add as well is holding end range of motion on each side for about a 2 count, really pressing those knees into the floor. It's going to be a really good idea. But 99 drills looks gorgeous. The one that I wanted to talk about a little bit more is going to be the shin box. I believe this is yes. So shin box, get up. It looked good, but this is one that you're definitely struggling with a lot more, and that's really what I'm talking about. So ideally, you're going slow, 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 and then drop into the hole. Now, ideally, when you do this drill, two things are happening. One, you can do it on the eccentric and concentric portion slow. You can do it really, really slow and proficient, and we're never dropping into the hole. That's the last thing we want, because for one, that shows that we don't quite have the optimal hip control that we like, and end range of motion, hip flexion. So what we need to do there is really practice on controlling it throughout. When you're at the top and you're about to send on the way down, we should be able to keep the same speed throughout and never be put in a position where we have to drop into the hole. In fact, I really want to avoid that. So something that I want you to do is we're going to go ahead and work up to doing it with that proficiency off the ground. But for now, I want to have true proficiency in a little bit limited range of motion. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bumper plate, something that's about 2-3 inches tall, and we're going to put that under your glutes so that it's a little smaller range of motion, and the part that you have to drop from is about a 2-plate distance, but I want you to master a little shorter range of motion, and then we'll drop the plate down until you're on the ground and you master the entire range of motion. But for now, we're going to reduce it a little bit. I want you to put a plate under your glutes on both sides and really focus on, for one, and actually there's a big thing I haven't mentioned yet, before we even go into this drill, before I even shoot my hips up and come up, I'm hinging very, very much so. So if, let's say I'm in position right now, before I shoot my hips in and pop up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first nice and slowly hinge, and then slowly hips up. And I'm going to shoot my hips in and stand tall. Now from there, again, I'm going to initiate it just like I did on the way down. I'm going to slowly hinge and sit back. So I end up in the same exact position. This is going to help you control a little bit better, and it's going to give you more benefit to your actual hips. So that's probably the biggest note, the shin box. That's something I'd really like to work on the next coming weeks. And it's going to greatly help your movement quality. Let's go ahead and continue sending videos on both of those, and really, really work on the shin box, get up and put that plate under the glutes, which will help greatly. Now, when it comes to bench press, this is one that I really wanted to work on a ton in this phase of training. So we're here now. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna double down on it, really focus on it. Just to show you what I'm talking about a little bit here. I like your foot position. You're set up for some nice leg drive. I like what I'm seeing with the starting position quite a bit. But keep in mind, you're trying to have this optimally stacked position. Anytime our elbows are further out than our hands are, our wrists are, it's not optimally stacked because the elbows are further out. That is something we want to avoid. If your grip is so wide, you'll notice a lot of elite level benchers, including myself, has a grip that's so stinking wide that their elbows end up being a little further inside than optimally stacked, which would be right here. Their elbows end up being a little inside, which actually increases how tight you can get. It's not necessarily a bad thing by any means if it feels better for your press. But the thing we don't want is to be not optimally stacked because our elbows are further out. That's the last thing we want. That's something that's going to greatly reduce the amount of power output you have and also encourage injury a little bit. So what I want you to do is just go ahead and do one of two things. Either tuck those elbows a little bit more, or what I prefer is do that on top of, let's push the grip out about an inch further out on each side. Half inch to an inch on each side, going a little further out. That's going to help that stack position. And I think in terms of ceiling, that's going to raise it quite a bit when we kind of get months down the road and start hitting even bigger numbers. So just go ahead and think about widening the grip out a little bit more, keeping that optimally stacked position, tucking the elbows a little bit more. These concepts are going to be very important once you get to heavier load, because right now we're just not quite optimally stacked, and that's going to be a big thing in terms of building an appropriate motor pattern and producing as much weight or force as we can. So let's go ahead and work on that in coming weeks and continue to send me videos so I can check it out. Last one I want to cover is going to be squat. So I could have showed a few videos here. You sent me a few back squat videos, a few front squat videos, but it's pretty universal. It's just one little thing I want to cover. So I like your foot position here. I really like your foot position here. And what we've done is with our new foot position, we've encouraged our knees to go out further, but I want them to come out further yet. So we went from toes pretty much straight forward to toes fairly out. Now I want you to think about actually widening your stance by about an inch on each side on top of forcing your knees out as you ascend in the hole. Because right now with both the front squat and the back squat, we're limiting our range of motion just a little bit by pointing our feet a little too far forward. Or actually, that's not the issue anymore, my bad. By having our stance be a little too close and our knees travel a little too far forward, which also ends up with a non-optimal shin angle. Now, it's gotten so much better already, and it's really reflected on the weight on the bar, which is awesome, but I think there's still continued room for improvement there, and I do believe it'd be a really good idea in terms of raising our ceiling and getting stronger and more and better joint specific angles that will carry over real well to strength, to have our feet go from here to here, inch out on each side. Try to keep that same toes pointed out, about 45-degree angle, and then really focus on knees coming out as we ascend into the hole. Really focus out on workup sets, and then obviously focus on even more so when you get the working load. If you find that you're struggling with that, there is a few proprioceptive drills we can throw in, like throwing a band around both knees. That way you focus on pushing them out. There's a few drills like that will help greatly, but let's just see if just me saying it and yourself thinking about it makes any difference there. I think that's about all I want to cover this week. Training won't change much at all. We're going to continue with the same rep cycle, add some load, maybe increase volume a little bit, but yeah, keep up the hard work, keep the videos coming.